Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Access All Agents, your backstage pass to the property industry. And with me today is my colleague, Tom Haigh and Lyndall Allan. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hello, Rosie. Great to be with you.
Well, I'm very excited for today. We've wanted Lyndall on the show for a long time now, and she finally has a little gap in her busy schedule to have her on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. This is going to be fun.
So for those who don't know your name, Lyndall, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So my name's Lyndall Allan. I work for Robinson Property in Newcastle. We're based in the Junction, and I have been selling real estate since I was 19, so 21 years, and I've been working with Robinson Property for 14 years of those. So yeah, love my job, love my industry, and love the city of Newcastle.
Well, it seems the city of Newcastle also loves you, Alan, because you are one of the top-notch agents in the area, and you focus on the Hamilton South and Hamilton East area.
Yeah, I certainly do. They're my little pockets of love. It's where I also live, and where my kids go to school and play sport. And yeah, it's a beautiful suburb. It's got a lot of heritage homes, which I'm very passionate about. And yeah, it's just a really lovely little area to focus on. So lots of surrounding suburbs as well, but a lot of my business is done in the Hamilton South, Hamilton East and Hamilton areas.
Such an aspirational area, and you know, one of the blue ribbon suburbs of Newcastle for sure. Some great schools, great parks, access to all the shops that you need, and stone's throw to the beach.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great central location, and a huge demographic is families that I sell to, downsizers as well, because it's very flat and you are right in the centre. So often many parts of Hamilton South, Hamilton East, you're really a short walk to even the town centre's not far. The beach is a couple of kilometres, even a kilometre, depending on where you are sitting in the Hamilton South border. But great schools like Hamilton South Public, people move to the area just to get their kids into that school. St Joseph's, even the Junction, they're all really close. But then you've also got Beaumont Street, which is in the heart of those regions, and the Junction with all the funky cafes, and it's got everything you want, and everywhere's flat and big blocks of land, which is great for families, and big properties as well.
Well, you got some pretty cool neighbours there too, Lyndall, because I know my colleague Tom Haigh also lives in Hamilton East. Tell us a bit about your experience and how you came to live there as well, Tom.
Well, funnily enough, I've got a little story to share with you, Craig, on coming to live in Hamilton East, and it just so happens that Lyndall is involved in that story. You know, a little while back, we're looking for a new family home, and Hamilton. For those who don't know, Hamilton East is a very small suburb, very small pocket in Newcastle that borders Hamilton South and very close to Merewether. And we'd been looking far and wide for a new home, and I happened to meet Lyndall, leading up to actually purchasing that particular property, and being the area expert that she is, Lyndall was phenomenal in terms of providing some local insights and providing some great background in terms of the comparable sales, so that we had a great handle on the true market value of the property. We were lucky enough to secure that particular property well below market value, but thanks to the insights that Lyndall was able to provide, we were able to move forward, and it was an auction scenario. We were able to move forward with a whole heap of confidence. So I've got Lyndall to thank for that all those years ago, and I guess that experience is one of the many that that make you realise the importance of dealing with area specialists when it comes to real estate.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
and not just an area specialist, but someone that lives the dream there herself. She is a mum of three. Lyndall, is that right?
Yes, I sure am. I've got Carter, Heath and Chelsea, 7, 9 and 11. And yeah, they certainly keep me very busy.
Absolutely. And the great thing is that for the people who want to move to these areas, their families as well. So they're really talking to someone who understands what's required, right, Lyndall?
Yeah, absolutely. I think living in the area and having a real insight of why it's such a great suburb to live in is very handy. Even talking schools, talking sport, talking things like the great ballet around the corner, or the beautiful parks, just the benefits of living in these great suburbs, so close to everything, but having a real community feel, because there are plenty of kids hanging out of trees in the streets and everyone gets together and has a barbie or a beer. It has a very lovely family community feel, and I'm quite passionate about those two little suburbs.
Oh, absolutely. And you know them so well, like the back of your hand. The thing that a lot of people are interested in is like, where can I grab the deals? We've been seeing a lot more people come on to open for inspections. They're at auctions ever since the COVID lockdown. It just each week it seems to get bigger and better. But if I'm sort of out there right now waiting on the sidelines, when do I jump in and where do I jump in?
So it really, I guess, comes into your price point and what it is that you're looking for. With COVID, we definitely saw prices pull back. I think those two particular suburbs are a little bit more protected than others, especially the lower end. So if you're still in an entry-level buyer, say under the 1.2 price bracket, we still had a fair amount of inquiry through that period. I had one particular one in Lawson Street. It was $1 million price bracket, and within the first week, in the heart of COVID, we still had 5 offers and it sold straight away. So little pockets like that were a little bit more affordable than they used to be. They had a decent amount of land content, and yeah, I think there's some really good buying out there still to have. The upper level of the price brackets for those regions don't have as much inquiry, but there's also not as much competition. There's not a lot of stock out there on the market. So we're still seeing them get some decent prices just purely because of supply and demand.
Yeah, so I guess the message is, Lyndall, don't sort of wait on the sidelines for too long, because these blue ribbon suburbs, like where you represent, they don't really suffer the extremes of the highs or the lows. They're sort of very steady blue ribbon suburbs, just like blue chip stocks.
That's right. So there's not really a particular street or area that I would say definitely go and have a look at. I think Hamilton itself, if you're looking for a cheaper investment, I think that would be good to look at. Anything under, say, the 700, 750, something Torrens Tidal, walking distance to Beaumont Street. Take a close look at that, because your rent returns are quite good. And I think because of those locations, they're a lot more affordable for investors to have that good return from the tenants, but good for capital growth as well.
Yeah, some great advice there, Lyndall. Tom Haigh, a man that walks the street of Hamilton East on a daily basis with his 3 kids in tow. You also act as a buyer's advisor for Capital Property Newcastle. For those out there thinking of getting on the field, moving away from the sidelines and going into play, what's some advice you could give forth?
Yeah, I guess really consistently, Craig, what we're telling all of our investors and all of our clients who are looking to purchase is to get ready. And I think real estate's one of those things. You just never know when the opportunity is going to come up. There's an opportunity in any market to get the property of your dreams. You've just got to be ready to act. So someone like Lyndall, particularly as an agent, she's obviously there to connect buyers and sellers. And the last thing that you want to be doing is entering into that process when you're not prepared. Everyone's time is precious, and everyone wants to do the right things by all parties. But at the end of the day, as a buyer, you need to also do a bit of work in the background, get yourself ready to go, and ensure that you're in the best position to secure that dream property when it comes up. The other thing that we always recommend, and Lyndall is probably one of the best examples of that in Newcastle, of the importance of doing it, is to actually make contact with agents directly. A lot of our clients are time poor, and that's the reason they come to us for our buyer's agent service. But if you are going it alone, if you are looking to secure your next property, and you are trying to get the best deal, pick up the phone and have a conversation. There's a vicious rumour going around that Lyndall's the friendliest agent in Newcastle, and there's probably a fair bit of truth to that. But sometimes it's easy to be intimidated by an agent and delay picking up the phone or not have that conversation. But at the end of the day, the agent's got the insights. The agent understands what's going on with the vendor and the situation with the market. So there's some enormous value that you can realise by just having a conversation and making that personal connection.
Tom, I couldn't agree
Absolutely.
more. We often look at the opportunities and we're talking certain streets or certain price points, and Lyndall's given us a little bit of background for that. But from my perspective, I think the real opportunity for those watching today is for people to reach out to Lyndall, because she is a very friendly lady. Immediately within a few moments of speaking with her, you feel like that she really cares about your living, where you want to grow your forever home, and you feel like you've known her for a long time. Isn't that right, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely, Craig, and that's no different to my experience. I spent a lot of time, living away from Newcastle, and when coming back to live in the great city that we call home, the local insights are key. You want to understand what it's like to raise a family. What is the local school like? For us, it's Next, and Lynn was able to provide some incredible insights into her experience and her experience with her kids there. So, you need to be speaking to people that are particularly from a real estate perspective, that are on the ground, that are at the coalface, that are having that local experience. It's so important to do it, and so important to be able to also understand, what are the great parts, what are the parts to avoid, and what's so great about the particular location.
Oh, I also think someone who has a passion for where they live, and Lyndall has that. She loves the Hamilton East and Hamilton South so much. She just wants everybody to move there. Is that right, Lyndall?
Pretty much, yeah. I am very passionate about it, and thank you for your kind words, fellas. It's very sweet. I do love what I do, and I do have a definite joy that I get from my job. I genuinely love matching people to properties and making sure that you take the time to really listen to them and find out what they want. And that's a part of our job as agents too. We need to get the best possible price for a property. So if you've got buyers you're talking to and you know what they want and you can match them, especially in an off-the-market scenario, you're going to get a great result for your vendors. But I'm there to help. With Tom, the property he was buying wasn't one of my properties, but I know down the track that we'd formed a relationship, and I would love to look after him again in the future. But you've got to be generous with your time, and what goes around comes around. And I'm sure when he goes to sell it, you'll ring me, won't you, Tom?
Oh, absolutely. And someone who's been in real estate for so long, Lyndall, you're not a transactional agent, you're a relationship agent. And
Yes.
they're the agents that we all love, because you're not just in it to get your next commission. You're there to really help the buyer and the seller and connect the right people to the right property, rather than just sell it to anybody.
That's right. You want it to be a wonderful experience. Like buying and selling a home has got to be one of the most stressful things you can do. So, I always try and go over and beyond and do everything I can to make it a joyful experience. I often form wonderful relationships with my vendors and buyers and have long-lasting relationships. But real estate's a long-term game. You've got to do the right thing by people and form those relationships. And Newcastle's also a very small town, so you do the right thing and people will spread the love. And I think that's been a big part of my success. You put the time and the effort in, you do the right thing, you know your stuff, and you'll be okay.
So, Lyndall, for those people who want to get to know the suburbs a little bit better, maybe reach out to yourself, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
I love having a chat, as you boys know. So just give me a call. I think you've just popped my number up there. I'm at the junction. Yep. Love a coffee, love a rosé, whatever suits. If you want to pick my real estate mind, always happy to spend some time So yeah, just give me a call, drop an email, or call into the office at the junction, and I'll help you in any way I can.
Absolutely, Lyndall. And I'm sure we'll catch you in the coffee shops of the junction, the wonderful restaurants, or walking your 3 kids to the park, just like Tom Haigh loves to do as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for your time, guys, and really looking forward to you getting more people to move into Hamilton East and Hamilton South, 2 of the best suburbs in Newcastle, and probably one of Newcastle's premier agents, Lyndall Allan.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me. It's nice to talk to you guys.
Thanks,
Bye for
Rosie.
now, everybody.